Namaste, dear friends. My name is Deep, and we are here with yogic cleansing technique Kapala Bhati. Hmm? Kapala mean head, and Bhati means shine. So it means this is the technique which can make your head shine, and a lot of things happening in this technique. In this video, we are covering what is the right technique to do it, because there are many confusion about this technique, where it should happen, how it should happen, what you should feel when you are doing it, what you should feel after when it has been happened, and what is the way to go into it, how and what is the way to come out of it, and especially what are the physical, what are the psychological, what are the spiritual benefit of this technique in yoga, that is most important to understand, and especially what are the contradiction, who should do it and who should not do it. I will explain in this video, and the same time you can learn it as a student, and if you are a teacher, I am providing all the facts about these techniques, so you can teach your student very well this technique with the right way. So, are you ready for it? Let's enter into it. I am a teacher trainer, and from all over the world, students have come to me to learn pranayama and asanas. And almost, I have to say it, 90 to 99% students have done this technique wrong. They have learned, and due regards to all those learning, but what I have found, they have not properly understood this technique. Like when they are doing, their pelvic is not rightly aligned. When they are doing it, their shoulders are not properly aligned. When they are doing it, the breath where it should happen, this is not happening there. And their brain is tense, their eyes are tense, their throat is tense. So actually they end up tensing themselves rather than relaxing, and they are not taking any benefit of it. So while seeing it on, I think, 100 of students, I feel like, okay, I have to do a video about it, so the students all over the world can really approach this technique right. And about this technique, as I have said, Kapala means head and Bhati means shine. When the head will shine, when a glow is happening on the face, according to Ayurveda and yoga, first thing is digestion. Let's talk about physical. If digestion is wrong, there cannot be any glow, because digestion is the base. According to Ayurveda, most of the problems happening to a human being because digestion is wrong. So this technique has direct effect on the digestion. So when digestion is right, all other systems are working really well. And again, Kapala Bhati, glow on the face, shine on the face. When it happens, when there is no stress happening, or if the stress is happening, we know how to handle it. So Kapala Bhati become a stress relief, because when this technique is happening, it cleansing all the barriers and blockages which stress had created inside of the body, and the mind is empty. That is the most important thing, because if we know what is yoga, we have to enter a little bit into that. Yoga means cessation of the mind, according to Patanjali, means cessation of thoughts. A thoughtless state, only a human can shine. So this Kapala Bhati, when it is happening in the right way, it is helping you to enter into your own inner silence, and that's what we call meditation. So it's not only physical benefit which is there, then it is giving you psychological benefit. Psychological benefit is, as a human, we daily repress a lot of things within ourselves. Our emotion, laughter, anger, jealousy, competitions, when I want to say something, like lot of things, if we are aware about our daily life pattern, we repress many things. Now that repression is a blockage, so energy cannot move. And that repression create most of the disease. Now Kapalabhati is easiest and a beautiful way to get out of all those repressions too. Hmm? And when you will do it, you will understand it what I am saying. So there are physical benefit on the digestion, there are psychological benefit to have all those repressions, emotional repressions out of the body. And the third, spiritual, it helps you to enter into your own silence. It helps you to go deeper into meditation. Hmm? So we are going for it. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Dear friends, we are going to talk about the precautions of Kapalabhati. So the first things in the women's, if pregnancy is going on, in the pregnancy this technique is not allowed. Second, menstrual time, when the periods happening, that time it's not allowed. And the third thing, which is common for men and women, high blood pressure, it's not allowed. Fourth, if any stroke, heart patient is there, it's not allowed. And if any surgery has happened around the stomach area, and it should be actually avoided at least for 5 to 6 months. Another thing has to be aware, if any person who is going through anxiety, severe anxiety and panic attacks, it should be avoided. Why? Because it's a hyperventilation technique. It increase the energy, it's increase the oxygen in the body. So these precautions are there when we want to go further into this technique. Hope you will take care of these things before entering into this technique. Thank you. Namaste, dear friends. Let's enter into the method of Kapalabhati. And before entering into further, I would love you to watch me how I am doing it, so you will understand it, and then we will go further. So I'm just going to take my t-shirt a little up so you can see my stomach. There is a wire, but it's all right, going apart. So just look at the stomach, what is happening. With the exhalation, which is quick but gentle, the stomach is going in. And inhalation, which is passive, the stomach is coming up. But you see one thing, when I am exhaling, it is active. But when I am inhaling, it is passive. So remember one thing, exhalation is active, inhalation is passive. Exhalation, stomach in, inhalation, which is passive, stomach is coming up there without any effort. And when exhalation, there is a sound. When inhalation, there is no sound. So hear it again. So this is the actually technique, but now I'm going to explain further. So the first thing is that most of the students, when they sit, their lower back is rounding, their shoulders are rounding, and they are doing like this. And the stroke is happening above the navel, above the navel. It's like under this rib area, stomach is going in, which is not right. So whenever you are going to practice, I will advise always have a block or a bolster or sit on some height, like when you sit on the height, so your knee and your hip either align or either knees are below the hips. If your knees are higher like that and shoulders are rounding, this technique is going to harm you. Really. It's not going to give you benefit. It will actually tense the nervous system there. So what we want, your sit bone on the block or any height, your hips in line with the knees, and cross leg position simple, and spine straight and chin parallel to the ground. So this posture has to maintain throughout the technique. Your posture should not slouch, your lower back should not round, your knee should not go higher than your hips. Is it clear? So that is the first thing you have to aware about it. And second, might some people are easy to sit on the heels. If you see here, knees are together and heels closer, and I'm sitting on the heel. This technique can be done in Vajrasana too, diamond pose. So pay attention to this pose first. So heels are coming closer and sit on the heels here. That is the pose. But somehow some people are not able to do. If they want to sit like that, they can use a block in this way, they can use a block in this way. So at least their legs are comfortable, and whenever you use this pose, which is diamond pose Vajrasana, aware that there is no pressure on the knee. That has to be aware. So now I'm going to sit front of you on the block, and I'm going to sit in cross leg position. So toes directly under the knee, and if you see, my knees are aligned with each other. Now find out whatever is comfortable position for you. And what is the comfortable position? That when you breathe, your breath is reaching to your diaphragm under the rib cage area easily. Is right. So what is the first thing? This one. Second thing, when the posture is right, what will happen? Check your temples area, this brain. It will be relaxed. And if you try round your back, shoulder forward, chin forward, this area is tense. So understood? Brain is relaxed, chin is parallel, spine is elongate, there is no pressure on your knee, breath is soft and calm. That is the first condition of this technique. Got it? Now second is, pay attention to your shoulder. They are not coming up, they are down, and scapula is in the body. So your heart, rib cage area is lifted, but it is not disturbing the rhythm of the breath in the diaphragm. Some people can go chest forward like that and then they can't breathe. No. Heart is lifted and breath is soft. So if you want, you can bring your hand by the side of body and you can lift the side of the body easily. Now you are feeling the center of the sit bone, posture is straight, chin is parallel. Now this position you have to maintain throughout the exercise. So now once it is done, then the basic step is take the both hands on your stomach, inhale, stomach up, exhale, stomach down. This is the rhythm. Inhale, stomach up, diaphragm up, exhale down. If this is not happening yet, you might have to practice only this step for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. If your breath is happening on the chest, like inhale, chest is coming, exhale, chest is coming, and when a person is taking the stroke, then happen like that. Chest is moving, it means it's not right. So the first principle of this technique is breathe from your diaphragm, and with inhalation, stomach should come up, With exhalation, stomach should go down here. We all know how to cough. So when a person is coughing, so with the cough you can get the idea. So inhalation is soft, exhalation is with the voice, and stomach is going in. Second idea you can take, there is a sun coming up there, but no worry. So the second idea is laughter. Laughter, when a person laughs from the belly, what happens? So you can laugh a little bit because it activates this area. And when you laugh, just simple open your mouth and you will feel this area is getting activated. And then mark this area. You know, when you exhale, stomach has to move in. Second step is, some can try, like while giving some force to the stomach, inhale up, exhale, and then step by step, not in any hurry, gentle inhalation, quick exhalation. You can do it right now, gentle inhalation, quick exhalation. So this is the second step to go further it, and slowly you will develop where you will feel the technique is happening like this. Now what is the common mistake has seen, that student is feeling the stroke above the navel here. So if you're feeling the stroke above the navel, you will find your brain will tend. So I will not recommend that. When it is right, when you're doing the technique, and might you have to check that your pelvic is aligned. If person is leaning to the right side and doing technique, it will be still up. If person is leaning to the left side and doing the technique, it will be still higher. If person is sitting on the edge back of the sit bone, the stroke will come above the navel. If person is sticking forward like that, it is on the chest and above. So we don't want that. So posture, first check your pelvic. See, the pelvic is neutral and aligned, not up, not down. Both sit bone are equally taking the weight. And then heart is lifted, chin is parallel, slightly down, and person is doing the technique. Stroke will happen below the navel. It means it is right. When the stroke is coming here, right, just 1 inch is below the navel or 2 inches below the navel. Why it is? In India, this spot has been regarded as Kandasthana. Kandasthana means Sanskrit word. It means this is the spot, according to yogis, where all the nadis, they have said 72,000 nadis. You can look into it. They all channels of the body of the prana meet here below the navel. And the navel has to influence with Kapalabhati. Why? Because navel is the center where we were attached to our mother when we were in the womb. So through the navel, the life has entered through me. And according to yogic understanding and Chinese philosophy, they also call this center Dantien. And the Japanese call it Hara, which is below the navel. So basically the life force energy is there. So if Kapalabhati is happening upper there, you are not really influencing your life force there. So when the stroke is happening here, properly, actually that life force is spreading through all the channels in your body. So if the stroke is not happening there, you are not taking the right benefit of it. And might if chest is rounding, posture is wrong, it will not happen there. So your posture has to be straight, upright, and then ribs should not move with the technique. Some student you will see, or I have seen, they will do like that. Not right. Chest has to be upright and it is not moving. So the entire play is happening on the abdominal muscle. That has to be aware. That is the point has to be noticed. And sometimes students are doing this technique and their facial expressions are like the face is getting tense. No. They have to be aware the facial muscle will be completely relaxed. So these things you are aware now. Let's go for the further thing. Many students I have found when they are doing this technique, they are taking the voice out of the throat. Oh my God. One of the most disturbing factor for the human nervous system and especially for the throat. So, how they do it? Just listen to it. Whenever they do Kapalabhati, this is happening. You can hear that voice? So this is the wrong technique. Now, hear the voice, what I am going to do right now. It is like you are blowing the nose from the forehead. Now listen to this. And listen to this. This is wrong. The right is when the voice is happening nasal through the nose, and it is like you are blowing the nose. So you can try to blow the nose 4 or 5 times. So this has to happen in Kapalabhati. Now listen to it. And listen to this. Now you are aware about it. So make sure whenever you are doing, a nasal sound is happening. Okay. Now the another point is, some people really tense their tongue doing it like. No. Make sure your tongue, the root of the tongue is really relaxed. So your throat muscles should not really work hard in it. Sometimes they do like too much emphasizes on the throat and facial muscle. No. The force is coming from your belly, from your navel, from your source of life. And then this point. So watch here, this point and this point, they are connecting. Not this and this. So these 2 points are, so we are trying, so the whole energy from here should move to the center of clarity. This point in yoga has been regarded as a center of clarity. So we are influencing things, but the force is coming from the navel, from your life. So that things has to be paid attention a lot. Another thing is, when the students are having their arms, if they are too close like this, the chest will be active more. So when the elbows are a little side here, so there is a space between the elbow, then the rear stroke is happening on the abdomen region below the navel area. So make sure when you are doing it, body is aligned, your elbows are not too close to the body like that, like this. Either you can take them a little apart if you are touching the ground, or if they are on the knee here, then slight space between the elbow and the armpit area. So once you are here, now look at me how I am doing. So whenever a person start, now listen to the technique. Whenever a person start with inhalation. So I am going to inhale. and then start. And whenever to finish, finish with exhalation. Start with inhalation, finish with exhalation. Pay attention to these things. The right speed of this, which I will recommend all of you, which is normal for the beginner to intermediate, is 1 second, 1 stroke. So if you pay attention, I am looking at my watch and doing this technique. So 1 second, 1 stroke. And if you are empty stomach right now, that thing has to be aware again. If you are empty stomach, or you have taken your food at least 3 hours before or 3.5 hours before, then only try this technique. Empty stomach, or there is a gap between the food and technique at least 3 or 3.5 hours. So now if you are empty stomach, try this with me right now. If you are aware about all these points, so inhale, start. Hope you got it. And one of the last thing to pay attention in this, that your brain is calm and relaxed. If you are doing fast, your brain will be really tense. So whenever you do it, your brain will be relaxed. And this technique, the advanced version, can be reached 2 stroke per second, like this. But not for the beginners. It can be done only when you have achieved the basic with the right way, and when you do fast, the face relax, the throat relax, brain is relaxed, only then advanced version has to be pursued. That has to be paid attention. Another thing about this technique is, if you are doing it in cold weather, it is really good to go for full speed, and you can go for, you can try it 1 minute, 2 minutes, and if you are really good with it, 3 minutes. This technique can be done till 5 minutes, but again, you have to regard your experience, you have to regard how much you can do easily. Like, what my meaning by this, that when I'm saying a person can do easily, like if a person is feeling dizzy, it means it has to stop. Maybe over oxygenation has happened and this is not the time to continue, stop, wait, and then go further about it. Another, if brain is feeling tense and inside is feeling really not comfortable, it means stop. Third, if back pain or stomach muscle start getting cramp, it means stop. So you have to regard your limit in it all the ways. There are yogis, there are people who can go for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes easily, but there are people who are not, so we have to slowly reach to that point. So if the cold weather, I have said that you can go further with it, it will create heat in the body, good cleansing. But if there is summer, hot weather, then it has to be practiced less. I will suggest that for the beginner, it's good to start 10 stroke, then relax for 4 to 5 breath, then 10 stroke, relax 4 to 5 breath, and 10 stroke again. So this is beginner. Then you can increase 20, 20, 20. Then increase 30, 30, 30. Then increase 40, 40, 40, unless you reach 60, 60, 63 times. Now you are able to go for 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute easily. But as I'm saying, if the summer weather is there and the weather is really humid, it's better to have 30, 30, 30, or if you're really advanced, 60, 60, 60, more than enough. Don't do more than that in summer weather, but do much in cold weather. Then it has a really energizing effect on the whole system there. So I'm sure you are clear about all these points. Now one more thing, especially as you are going further into this technique, what is happening? Like when we are breathing, actually we are not giving time to our mind to think. Like, so we are creating gap between our thoughts, and in that gap meditation exists. So this technique is leading you further there also. So when you are doing it and you finish with exhalation, after exhalation in the advanced stages, maybe not in the starting, after exhalation you will find that there is a natural pause between the exhalation and inhalation. Like you have exhaled, your body will not feel like to take the breath inside, maybe for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, but it is happening by itself. You are not creating it. That is the very beautiful point to observe. Like when, like I'm going to do this technique so you will see it. I'm starting with inhalation and there is a natural pause which is created by the technique, that your breath is not moving inside for a couple of seconds. It can be longer also. Stay attentive to that point, because in that point we cross the boundary of thought and emotions, which is mental layer in yoga, and we stay there, and you will find a clarity, a silence happening within you, and that is the taste of meditation which this technique is preparing you for, to enter into that silent space. And more you go into this technique, you will find it, those gaps are getting longer and longer, and you are coming home. What am I meaning by coming home? This body is our home, and thought, emotions always influenced by outside. So it's always outside. There is some object and our attention is there, and attention has been never to the subject. Subject means me, my body, my breath, my inside. So when this technique is preparing you to come home, it means you will more stay within the body, with the body. And when you are in the body, you are in home. That is the fruit of Kapalabhati. You settled within your home, not moving anywhere outside of this home, and slowly, slowly you get the taste of it through this technique, and then you stay with it within you. Calm, quiet, other name if you want to call it, present. You feel your own presence without the language, without the word, without anything happening inside. just a stillness. That's the fruit of Kapalabhati. So let's do it together right now. I'm going to do it 1 minute. So if you are sitting in a nice position, heart lifted, chin slightly down, whole body relaxed, elbow away. Inhale, start. Continue. Now while you are continuing, just pay attention to my voice, that the stroke is happening on the navel or below the navel. Your chest is not moving. Keep continuing. Your brain is relaxed. Your tongue, your teeth, they are relaxed. There is a ease within the body. Continue. And keep paying attention to your voice. Is it on the throat or is on the nose, on the forehead? Continue. At the same time, see that your chest has very limited movement. You are not moving your chest much. Good, continue. And your exhalation is active. Inhalation is passive without any noise. It's just soft in by itself. Exhalation has the effort. Keep going. Now on the next exhalation, stop and look within. If your breath is stopped for a while, let it be there, stop outside. Like the whole birds, the touch of the wind. My own presence is so clear. Normal breathing. Slowly you can open your eyes if you are closing, and you are already open, then look at me. So this is Kapalabhati. If you are taking care of these things, my dear, Kapala means head and Bhati means shine. Your body will shine and your soul will shine. In the silence of your inner, the fruit of joy and celebration will grow beautifully. And this is what this technique for. Namaste, my dear friends. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for joining me. Keep laughing, keep dancing, keep celebrating your life. Namaste. Namaste. Congratulations, my dear friends, my dear students. You have understood this Kapalabhati. You have gone to the depth of this Kapalabhati with me. But now it is the time, whatever I am saying, to bring it to your own body and see how you feel with it. What you find within yourself with it. I will say, don't believe on me. Because whole pattern of the world is believe, believe. But I am saying is yoga has no pattern of believe. I am saying it to you. I am giving it to you. You practice it and know it. It should not be just knowledge for you. It must become experience for you. And might in your experience you find something more valuable and beautiful for you. Like whenever there are two scuba divers who are going into the sea diving, one find beautiful things and one find another beautiful things, different colors, different scenes. Same thing, you and me are scuba divers. We are diving into this Kapalabhati. I have given my experience to you, but might you will find something more beautiful than me with your own experience. And I will encourage you to go into it and never forget where this technique is leading you. This technique is leading you towards your own inner silence. And if silence is not happening inside by itself, I'm not saying that you are forcing the silence on you. With this technique, silence become natural phenomena with you. Until that, don't stop your journey of yoga. And remember my words, this silence is not forced. This silence is not just fighting with the mind. This silence happening while going deeper into the technique, and whatever is happening in the mind, your thought and emotion, becoming witness to them. Like you're not fighting with it. Through this technique, you will find that witnessing your thought and emotion will become easy. What is my meaning by witnessing? When you close your eyes and you look inside what thought is going on, you see, I'm thinking this. It means you become witness. And you see, what are you feeling? I'm feeling this. So who is this? Who is watching the thought and feeling is the witness. So this Kapalabhati is helping you to establish, to be firm into the witness. Until that, don't stop your journey. And I wish you all the best in your yogic journey. And I pray to existence that this Kapalabhati can become a door within you to your own self. Enjoy. Huh? Thank you. Thank you, beloved friends. Thank you.